Hello students, in this lecture I'll begin with Act 1, Scene 2 of Volpone by Ben Jonson. Now in Act 1, Scene 1 we have discussed that Volpone, who was a rich man, who was a wealthy man, and he wanted to gain more wealth by making people fool and by spreading the rumor that he is seriously ill and he will inherit his wealth to the person who will bring him more and more valuable gifts. So in Act 1, Scene 1, we already discussed that Voltaire, one among three suitors, there were three suitors, means three rich people who would visit Volpone, who would please Volpone with their gifts, their valuable gifts, with the hope that when Volpone will die, he will send them their will. So Voltaire, the first suitor, he is also hopeful that Volpone will leave his will to him and give his wealth to him. On the other hand, Corbatio, the second suitor, who is a very old man, he is also hopeful of getting his wealth. The third suitor, Corvino, he is also in the wait to get his wealth. So in the Act 1, Scene 1, we discussed that Voltaire visited him. One thing I think I missed to discuss with you, that Volpone, he has been pretending to be ill for past 3 years. So this act, as I have already mentioned with you, I have already discussed with you this thing, that this play has unity of action. This play is based on just one day, but it's not that it happened just in one day. Means in this play, the day on which this play is based upon, this day is already discussing the things that were going for 3 complete years. Means for 3 complete years, Volpone is pretending to be ill to people living near him, and it's just one day. Okay, we are talking about just one day of that day. Okay. So now Voltaire has brought a gold plate for him, because Mosca, this we have discussed, that Mosca was his, you can say, parasite, his hanger on, his most trustworthy companion. Okay, Mosca is a parasite. It's a beast fable. This play is a beast fable. They all are beasts who have human, traits. Now, Voltaire has brought a gold plate to make Volpone happy, so that Volpone will give him his wealth before he dies. Before Volpone dies, he will name his wealth to him. Now, now we'll begin with Act 1, Scene 2. Okay. Now in Act 1, Scene 2, it is still being performed in the same chamber. Okay. Now, actually, I'll not discuss each and every line with you. I think it's better, because we have less time. I'll discuss just the gist of everything, and I'll make sure that everything important is included. Okay. So in Act 1, Scene 2, Voltaire, the first suitor, who is a wealthy man himself, but he is very greedy. Voltaire is very greedy. He wants to get wealth of Volpone. Okay, and this Volpone names Voltaire as a vulture. He calls him vulture. Now, Voltaire has brought this gold plate for him, and with the hope that he will be pleased and he will give him his wealth. Now, okay, so let us begin from here. Voltaire brings him near. Where is he? I long to feel his hand. I long to feel his hand means, now Volpone is pretending to be very ill, means like he is so ill that he cannot, sit or stand properly. So now Voltaire, how fare you, sir? Means Voltaire asks him about his well-being, if he is okay or not. He says that, He's just pretending. Voltaire is pretending that may you get healthy soon, but in hearts of hearts, Voltaire wants him to die as soon as possible so that he can get his wealth. Now, Mosca, he is a very important and prominent figure in this play. It is Mosca who makes all the suitors believe, all the people believe that he is very ill, and to everyone, like to Voltaire, to Corbacio, to Corvino, he says that to Voltaire he says you will get his wealth. To same he says to Corbacio, and same he says to Corvino. So Mosca plays a very, very important role. Okay, in Act 1, Scene 2, it's just that he makes Voltaire happy by assuring him that he is the one who will get wealth of Volpone after the death of Volpone. Okay, and he flatters him that he is such a good man, and he wants, he in a way, Mosca pretends to be very loyal to Voltaire, and then Voltaire asks that why Volpone will give him his wealth, means why he wants to know why Volpone will give Voltaire his wealth. At this, Mosca answers that Volpone likes lawyer very much. Means he says that Volpone is very fond of wise people. He is very fond of people who are wise, who can play with words, who can talk well. So this quality is there in Voltaire. So for that reason, Volpone will give his wealth to Voltaire. And to this, Mosca adds that, just to please Voltaire, Mosca says that after Voltaire gets the wealth of Volpone, then he wants Volpone to make him his employee. Means he says that you have to take care of me now. I am taking care of you. Mosca says that now Mosca is taking care of Voltaire. After the death of Volpone, Voltaire will have to take care of Mosca. Means he wants Voltaire to give him a job after the death of Volpone, to which Voltaire agrees. Now, then there is a banging on the door, a loud knocking without. Who's that? One knocks. I would not have you seen, sir, and yet pretend you came and went in haste. I'll fashion an excuse and gentle, sir. When they were talking, when he was about to leave, when Voltaire was about to leave, he heard a banging on the door. Who was there? The second suitor, Corbacio, was there. Okay, means this tells that so there were many suitors to visit him every day, because they all were greedy people and they want to get wealth of Volpone. So it's an acute satire on the people of the society of Jacobean era. Means Mr. Ben Jonson, he wants to just make a satire on the contemporary people, on the people of that age, on the people of Jacobean age, that all were hungry, all were greedy of wealth. They had no emotions. They were so pretentious. They would pretend that they love each other, that they are fond of each other, but the reality was that they were just fond of money. They were just greedy people. Okay, so this play is a satire, and if you have watched the movie, you will easily get to know that it's such an amazing play. The actors who are performing on the stage, they'll make you burst into laughter. Now, let us get back to the text. Next suitor is Corbacio. Now let us discuss something about Corbacio. Let me give you an introduction of Corbacio. Corbacio is a very old man, much older than this Volpone himself, and he has a son, Balvino, I guess that is the name, if I'm not wrong. Now he is himself so old, much older than Volpone, but he is so greedy. He wants to get wealth of Volpone. See the satire in the character of, if you can point out the satire in the character of Corbacio, the satire is that this man, he is just about to die. He is so old. He is very ill. He is almost deaf. He can't hear properly, but even then he was so greedy that he wanted to get wealth of Volpone for himself. Means he is confident that he will outlive Volpone. Means he will live longer life than Volpone, and he will get wealth of Volpone. Okay, how he will get wealth of Volpone? By giving him valuable gifts. Now, what Corbetiu has to offer to Volpone? When Corbetiu comes, okay, what has he brought? Okay, yeah. Now, let us begin from here. Signor Corbetiu. Signor means, it's a very sort of elegant address. Now, Corbetiu, what does your patron Mosca? Troth, as he did no amends, Corb, what he means, he no, sir, he rather worse. What well, where is he upon his couch, sir? One thing I missed to mention that, this Volpone, he was really not ill. He was not even that old, but he was pretending to be old. So whenever suitors would come to visit him, he would apply lots of makeup. What sort of makeup he would apply? He would ask Mosca to apply an ointment under his eyes, over his eyes. He would ask him to apply black ointment around his over his face to make him a dull look. Ointment around his eyes, under his eyes, to make them look like dark circles. He was not that weak. He was not even ill, but he would pretend to be ill so that people would believe that he is about to die, and they would visit him with valuable gifts. Now, one more thing, the the hilarious thing is when Volturi was about to leave the chamber of Volpone, then Mosca again and again reminds him to make more and more visit with valuable gifts. Isn't it very hilarious? Yes, I think it is. So, now Corbetiu, what he has to offer? Now, to a great, you can say, disappointment, he has brought medicine for Volpone. At this, Mosca asks why you have brought medicine. Then he answers that because I want Volpone to get healthy. But now Mosca and Volpone, they both know that he definitely does not, that Corbetiu does not want him to heal. He does not want him to feel better. In fact, he wants him to die as soon as possible. So, at this, like Mosca and they are thinking that they cannot trust Corbetiu because it is quite possible that there might be poison in that medicine. So they say, at this Mosca says, wait. Let me find out that line. Excuse me for the delay. Yeah. Wait. Actually, he had brought medicine for him, to which Mosca replies that for Volpone, money is the medicine. Money is the greatest healer. So if you want, Mosca says that if you want Volpone to be happy, if you want Volpone to feel better, you should offer him money. He says that money is a true medicine. It's a great elixir. Elixir means sort of medicine. Mosca says that gold can be felt if not drunk. So if you want him to feel better, you should offer him money. You should offer him gold, not medicine. Okay. Then he takes out, this Corbetiu, he takes out a bag of gold coins, a bag full of gold coins. And this Mosca, he instantly tries to snatch that bag from, Mosca, taking the bag. Here I have brought a bag of bright chequins. Chequins means here gold coins. Will quite weigh down his plate. Now, what is the meaning of this plate here? Now Corbesiu is aware of that Voltore also is trying to bribe, or he is trying to make Volpone happy. Now he says that I have brought a bag full of gold coins which are which are heavier than his plate. So he wants to say that his gift is far more precious than the gift of Voltore. So now he wants to say that now he has more, you can say, what I that the word is that he has more claim over the wealth of Volpone than Voltore. So he says that his gold coins are heavier than that gold plate. So yeah, now so at this he says that the best thing would be Mosca says that the best thing, if he wants to get his wealth, the best thing should be that that this Corbesiu should disinherit his son Balbino. Balbino was the son of, if actually I think, if I'm not wrong, the name of son of Corbesiu was Balbino. You just need to recheck it. He wants, Mosca wants Corbesiu to disinherit his son Balbino of his wealth. He says that if you will disinherit your own son, means if you will not, he says that if you will make Volpone your heir, means if you will inherit your will to Volpone, then before death Volpone will inherit your wealth, his wealth to you. Means it's a double game. Means he says that Mosca says to Corbesiu that you should disinherit your son. Means disinherit in Hindi means bedakal. Means he wants to say that that if you will disinherit your son, then Volpone will definitely give his complete wealth to you. At this first, he then gets confused because Balbino was his son. How could he disinherit his own son? But he was such a greedy man. He thought that Volpone is about to die, and after his death, he will get back not just his own wealth, he will also get wealth of this Volpone also. At this, Corbesiu agrees to Mosca, and Mosca says that definitely you will be the heir to Volpone's wealth. Now, yeah. Now that would be it for. Now let us move to the visit of. Now let us move to, I guess, Act 3rd. If I missed it, I guess. Now another thing is, I just want to point this thing out. Actually, it's not possible for me to read line to line, so I'll just give you the gist of all these events that are important. Now, Corbesiu, when Corbesiu was standing at a distance, then he was standing outside the room, and this Volpone and Mosca, they were making fun of him, that how fool he is, and they are praising themselves that how they have been successful in tricking people. Okay, and why they are very loud when they are talking? Why? Because Corbesiu is almost deaf, he can't hear. Now the next to visit is Corvino. Okay, now as soon as Corbesiu Corbesiu leaves the room, when he leaves the room, when there is third knock on the door. So when there was first knock on the door, Voltore pays a visit. When at the second knock, Corbesiu pays the visit, and at the third knock, Corvino pays the visit. Okay, so when the third knock was there, it was a sign for Corbesiu to leave the room and to let the third suitor come in. Sorry. As Corbesiu leaves the room, Volpone jumps out of bed and they in a way celebrate that how they have befooled Voltore and Carbascio, and how they were able to get gold plate from Voltore and a bag of gold coins from Carbascio. Okay, now he applies more ointment. He asks, before Corvino comes to his chamber, he asks Mosca to apply even more ointment to his eyes so that he would look, so that Volpone would look even more ill. Okay, now Corvino enters and then he Corvino tries to inquire about the health of this Volpone, at which Mosca replies that he is as good as dead, means he is about to die, he may die any moment. Now, as far as Corvino as a person is, when we talk about Corvino as a person, he is a very wealthy man. He is a merchant, you can say a businessman who has a very beautiful wife named Celia. Now he is a very suspicious sort of husband. He never allows his wife Celia to step out of the door. He even keeps herself in guard of his household people, the servants who were there in his house. Now, let us get back to the text. Corvino enters, and what he has to offer, what gift he has brought? He has brought a pearl for this Volpone. Now, Mosca asks what sort of pearl it is. He says it's a 24 karat gold pearl, means very big pearl, you can say. Okay. Now, yeah, see, Corv means Corvino. I have brought him a pearl, Mosca. Perhaps he has. So much remembrance left, as you know, sir. He still calls on you. Nothing but your name is in his mouth. Is your pearl orient, sir? Venice was never honor of the like. Venice means he says that the pearl that he has brought, that sort of pearl has never been seen by Venice. Means this is the most valuable pearl of Venice. Okay. Now, then Volpone, he enters the chamber of Volpone. Volpone pretends to be deaf, that he can't hear this Mosca. Then he, Mosca has assured Voltore that he will be that he will get a wealth of Volpone. He has given the same assurance to Carbascio, and same trick he is applying to Corvino. To Corvino he says that yes, definitely you will be the one who will get wealth of Volpone. When he asks reason why, then he says that even when he is sleeping or even when he is so ill, he keeps on uttering your name. So I am damn sure that you will get the wealth of Volpone. Okay. Yeah. Now, because this Corvino, he is aware that Voltore and Carbascio, they are also after his wealth. So he wants to be sure that why Volpone will give his wealth to him. At this, Mosca says that he keeps on uttering your name all day and all night. Okay. Then Corvino says wants to ask that why he will give his wealth to me. Does he have means he tries to inquire if he has any children. To that Mosca says, bastards, knew you not that, sir? It's a common fable. Mosca says that, don't you know about this? It's a common fable, means everyone knows about this, that the dwarf, the fool, the eunuch, all are his. He is the true father of his family in all save me, but he has given them nothing. He says that, he means to say that this dwarf, this fool, the eunuch and all these transgender and all, he is father of them, but they are from different mothers, means they are his illegitimate children. He will not give them anything. Okay. So, to which he says, wait. Yeah. Mosca says, yeah. Mosca wants to confirm his loyalty to Corvino. He says that why don't you do something so that he would die? Means Mosca says that why don't you kill him so that you will get his wealth very soon. To which Corvino says that wait. Corvino, I pray you use no violence. He says that I want him to die, but I don't want to kill him. He will die his own death because Mosca tells him that he is about to die. So Corvino is somehow confident that he will die his own death, so they need not kill him. Okay. Now, another important thing that I wish to discuss with you is, yeah, wait, yeah, Corvino. See, now you know Corvino, he shows his trust to Mosca, and he says to Mosca, Corvino, grateful Mosca, thou art my friend, my fellow, my companion, my partner, and shall share in my fortunes, Mosca. Accepting one. Corv, what's that, Mosca? Your gallant wife, sir. Exit Corv. You know, at this, Corvino says that you are my companion, you are my partner, you are my faithful friend, and I will give you much share in my fortunes, in my wealth. Means he says that what is mine is yours. To which Mosca says accepting one means you will. I know that you will give me much except one. That you will give me many things except one. What is that one thing? Corvino says. What's that? Corvino wants to say, what you are talking about, Mosca? What is that one thing that I will not give you? To which says Mosca, your gallant wife, that your beautiful wife, you will not share with. And you know, this Corvino, he cannot bear the name of his wife from the mouth of anyone else. He is so possessive, this Corvino, he is so possessive about his wife that he cannot bear any other person uttering her name. So at this, Corvino feels perturbed, disturbed, and he exits. Okay, then he is gone. At which I will not read each and every line. Means, so at this, you know, when he has gone, when this Corvino has gone, Mosca, Volpone tries to ask him that what you are talking about, that what is that this Corvino will not give you. Then he means he wants to ask Mosca, what were you talking about, that what Corvino will not give. At this, he tells, Mosca tells Volpone about his beautiful wife, about Celia. Now he starts praising Celia. He starts praising her beauty, her lips, her cheeks, her hair, everything, like a poem, like a poet praises the beauty of a woman. In the same way, this Mosca starts praising the beauty of this Celia, to which Volpone feels bewildered. He gets so excited that he wants to have Celia at any cost. Okay. He gets angry with Mosca that why that now you are telling me about Celia, why you have not told me about this beautiful lady before. Then he says that which Mosca replies that Mosca, alas sir, Volpone, why had not I known this before? Mosca, alas sir, myself but yesterday discovered it. Volpone, how might I see her? Volpone says, Mosca says that only yesterday I came to know about this Celia, about how beautiful she is. Volpone says, how might I see her? Means, how can I see her? Mosca, not possible. She is kept as verily as is your gold. Means, Mosca wants to say that Corvino guards his beautiful wife Celia in the same way as Volpone guards his gold. Never does come abroad, never takes air. Never takes air means she is never seen outside. but at a window. If someone can see her, she can be seen just at a window. All her looks are sweet. Means she is very pretty, she is very beautiful. As the first grapes or cherries, and are watched as near as they are. Means he compares her beauty to grapes and cherries. Volpone, I must see her. Mosca, in some disguise then. Mosca says that if you want to see her, then you will have to disguise yourself. Okay. Volpone, that is true. I must maintain my own shape. Still the same will think. Exeunt. Then they both exit the stage. Now Act 2, Scene 1. Now this Act 2, Scene 1 discusses the subplot of this play. Subplot means that is not very important. That is a side plot. Okay. Now the main characters in this side plot are sorry, I have missed a very very important thing. Before when Corvino exits, then there was again a knock on the door. Now here it is. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, here. Re-enter Mosca. There was a knock at the door. Okay. Then Volpone asks who is there. That to which Mosca replies, the beauteous lady would be, sir. Another character in the play is Lady Would Be. The name of the character is Lady Would Be. She is the wife of Sir Politic Would Be. Politic means worldly wise. It's a satire. Sir Politic means the name of the character is Sir Politic. Politic means worldly wise, who has worldly wisdom, means like who is very wise. It's a satire because the person whose name is Sir Politic would be means that in future he would be, means it's a satire. There is a mockery in this name itself. Means the name of the husband is Sir Politic would be, the name of the wife is Lady Would Be. Okay. Now Lady Would Be has come to visit him, at which Volpone asked Mosca to give message to Lady Would Be that he will visit her, that she can visit after 3 hours and she would let her go. Okay. Then Mosca and they are talking that how this lady keeps on this lady is not that beautiful, but she keeps on roaming all day long. How her husband, how gullible, how foolish her husband is, that he don't ask her to stay at home, while Celia, who is so pretty, who is so beautiful, she is always kept indoors. Means he wants to say, Mosca wants to say that Lady Would Be is not pretty, and the lady who is not pretty is available, her sight is available to all, means everyone can look at her, but the lady who is really worth watching means Celia, she is kept indoors. Okay. So there is a comparison. Now this Mosca, in the complete play, he will kept on establishing a parallel between Lady Would Be and Celia. Means there will be a comparison between the qualities of Celia and Lady Would Be and their beauty. Okay. Now let us come to Scene 2, Act 2, Scene 1. The main characters, it's a subplot, you can say it's a side plot. The main characters in this scene are 2. The first character is Sir Politic Would Be, and the second character is Peregrine. Peregrine is an Englishman who has come to visit Venice. Okay. Now one thing I would like to tell you about this Sir Politic Would Be. Sir Politic Would Be was a rich man, but he did not belong to royalty. Okay. He is called Poor Knight. Poor Knight means he was not really a knight. Now let me introduce you to some of the political conditions of the age of Jacobean era. During because of certain circumstances, Britain was somehow suffering financially. So the king would distribute, or you can say would sell knighthood to the people who would give money. Means knighthood will be sold to people who would purchase him. Means it's like like awards will be purchased, not earned. Are you getting my point? Means that knighthood is a sort of, like, designation. It is sold, not earned. Means, if suppose it's like selling jobs. Okay, means you are not qualified, but you will get job if you will give money. Are you able to comprehend what I'm trying to say? Means, what I intend to say is, if you will give money, you will get job. In the same way, this Sir Politic Woodbey was not a real knight, but he was made knight after he gave money to King James. Okay, to the king. So, yeah. Now, the place is, let me read it out. The place is St. Mark's Place, a retired corner before Corvino's house. This is a place outside Corvino's house. Enter Venetican citizens, Mosca and Nano disguised, followed by persons with materials for erecting a stage. Okay. Mosca and Nano, they have disguised, and they are appearing on the stage. Now they have some things that are needed to perform to build a stage. Okay. First citizen, who be these, sir? Mosca. Under that window there must be the same. First citizen, fellows, to mount a bank, did you instruct in the dear tongues never discourse to you of the Italian mount banks? Mount banks here means, a sort of like, Neem Hakim sort of. Yeah, that's not very important. Now, this scene is not very important, but I'll discuss with you the gist of this scene. Okay, this scene, as I've already discussed, it's between Sir Politic Woodbey and between Peregrine. They both have come to visit Venice. They are Englishmen. They have come to visit Venice. Okay. Now, yeah. Excuse me, students. I'm feeling short of breath. Yeah. Now, let me give you a sort of, what should I say, correct sketch of Sir Politic Woodbey. Basically, Sir Politic Woodbey is a sort of, like gullible man. Gullible means naive man, a sort of foolish man who pretends to be very wise. Okay, means his name, his totally contrary to his real character. Okay. Now, Peregrine is a person, is a sort of traveler. They both are travelers. Okay. Now they have reached Venice. Now they both meet each other at that place, St. Mark's. Okay. Now they are talking to each other on this. What is the use of this subplot, this act? Is just to create humor and to let audience and to let readers know more and more about the political conditions or the living conditions of that age. In fact, Mr. Ben Jonson has been criticized for this loosely knit plot. Means this plot is not very well suited in the act. This is what critics believe, that it, like the subplot of Hamlet, in Hamlet there was a subplot which was very well knit, means which was very well linked to the main plot, but this subplot is not very well linked to the main plot. But let it be, we need to discuss it. Now this Peregrine and Sir Politic, they are talking. The name of Sir Politic itself is very contradictory, because he is a very sort of foolish sort of man, and Peregrine, he mocks him and he calls him like poor knight. Poor knight means those people who purchase knighthood from the king through money. Okay, now Peregrine, they both greet each other, Peregrine, and they wish each other. Okay, then Peregrine gives him, they are both talking, they both are talking about, how they both are Englishmen, they both have come to Venice for the sake of like to spend holidays or something. Now, this Sir Politic informs him that, in fact, his wife wanted to get, his wife wanted to see this Venice, and he wanted, he has just come to fulfill wish of his wife. Actually, this is a satire on those sort of men who would be ready to follow the instructions of their wives, because now we are talking about the time when there was a patriarchal society, when we are talking about a time when ladies were supposed to obey the instructions and commands of their men. But here now we have a character, Sir Politic would be, who follows the commands of his wife. That is why he was mocked at by other people. So in this way, now we come to we come across the patriarchal society of Jacobean era, where a person would be disrespected simply because he would agree to every wish of his wife. Okay, now they are this Peregrine and Sir Politic would be, they are just talking about very ordinary sort of things. Now Peregrine, he is trying to make fun of this Sir Politic would be, because he has heard rumors about his foolishness. Now Peregrine gives him fake news about a lion giving birth to cubs in like England, about a supernova that is about to hit Earth, and then he talks about a Stone, a person named Stone, about his espionage. Espionage means that he was a spy. Okay, have you seen the movie Shehenshah? I just want to relate it. The movie Shehenshah featuring Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, in that movie Shehenshah, this Amitabh Bachchan, he played the role of a gullible. He played the role of a very innocent or foolish sort of policeman, who could be befooled by others, who could be tricked by others. But Shehenshah, the real Shehenshah, his counterpart, he is a totally different personality. Means Shehenshah enacts before others that he is a fool. Okay, in the same way, they are talking about a person named Stone, that Stone, who was in fact a spy, who would behave like a foolish person, but actually he was a spy. Now through this character of Stone, or through this conversation between Sir Politic would be and Peregrine, Mr. Johnson is trying to throw light on the political background of, or you can say political corruption of Jacobean era, because that was the time that these spies existed. Means there was a concept of spy in this in political these families. So he says that Stone was a person who was enacting to be illiterate, who was enacting to be foolish, and he tries to establish a comparison between foolishness of Nano, of Androgyne, and all that. Nano, Androgyne, and they are foolish by they are happy with their foolishness, while this Stone, he is using his foolishness to hide his cover of being a spy. So this act is just about such things. It's not very important, but this act throws light on the the political background of and the living conditions of that age, and it's moreover it's a satire on. Now, through this subplot, we get to know that knighthood, that knighthood was sold during those times. Means the king would sell knighthood to people who would buy money. Okay, so we came to know about some certain facts through these subplots. First, knighthood was being sold by kings. Okay, during Jacobean era. Second thing, that it's a satire, and to create humor, he has used contradictory names. Okay, means Sir Politic would be. His dream was to, that to be appreciated among noblemen for his wisdom. It's a satire. And the third is, the pretentious behavior of the people in that age. The people were something else, but they were pretending totally different, in a totally different way. So Peregrine uses pun. Pun is a literary device in which words you mean something, you say something and you mean something else. Okay, then he wants to, then this Peregrine asks Sir Politic would be about a travelogue or a book that would guide him about the places to visit in Venice. But he says that he has no guide, but then this Sir Politic would be boasts about his, like his links in royal families or about his links in noble families. Okay, at this point, this scene ends, and it's not a very important scene. When it's not very important scene from the point of view of exam or something, but it somehow contributes to get us contributes to let us know more elaborately about the conditions of that age. So students, now I would request you to side by side prepare well, go through these links, prepare your notes well in time, and stay connected, because I'm assuming that you are preparing your notes, you are going through the lectures and all, but if you are not, all my labor is in vain, will go in vain. Okay, so stay connected, stay safe, and that would be all for today's lecture. Bye, take care.